12 Powerful Habits to Build Absolute Self-Confidence. Hello to all viewers of the Stoic Philosophy Portal channel. Today we will dive into a topic that excites each of us: self-confidence. Confidence not only helps us achieve our goals, but also shapes our perception of life itself. For thousands of years, thinkers such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius have emphasized the importance of remaining strong and steadfast in any circumstances. Building unshakable self-confidence is a complex but multifaceted process. It involves not just the desire to become confident, but also actively working on your own perception of yourself and the world around you. This process takes time, self-awareness, and regular practice. Stoic philosophy, which originated in ancient Greece, provides many useful tools for developing confidence. Stoicism is a school of thought based on principles such as control over emotions, focusing on what we can change, and accepting what is beyond our control. The knowledge and practice of Stoicism can become the basis for developing inner confidence. Next, we'll look at 12 habits that can help you build self-confidence, and illustrate them with examples from the works of the Stoics. 1. Reflect on life's challenges. Reflecting on life's challenges is an important part of the Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to embrace life with its ups and downs. Epictetus, an ancient Greek Stoic philosopher, sums up one of the key ideas of this philosophy when he says, "It is not the things themselves that trouble men, but their opinions about things." This statement perfectly illustrates how our perceptions and interpretations of events affect our emotional state and overall well-being. By accepting challenges as an inevitable part of life, we open ourselves up to opportunities to learn and grow. Every difficult event we face can be interpreted as a lesson, whether it's a job loss, a breakup, or another life challenge. For example, many famous people, from Albert Einstein to Oprah Winfrey, have faced significant challenges along the way, but these challenges became the catalyst for their personal growth and success. Einstein, who was rejected as a child and struggled in school, used these setbacks as a stimulus to study and research, which eventually led to discoveries that revolutionized physics. Oprah Winfrey, who survived a difficult childhood of abuse and poverty, was able to transform her experiences into a powerful message and became an inspiration to millions, emphasizing the importance of inner strength and resilience. Stoicism also offers practical techniques for mentally preparing for difficult times. For example, the negative outcome visualization technique is often used in Stoic practice. This method involves imagining the worst-case scenarios that could happen and thinking about how you would cope with the consequences. This preparation helps reduce the fear of future adversity, making it easier for us to accept difficulties when they do occur. As Marcus Aurelius said, "If you find yourself giving in too much to your passions, remember that they will serve you well, but they will not allow you to be noble." Another important concept is the understanding that many things are beyond our control. This teaching of distinguishing between what we can change and what we must simply accept is fundamental to Stoicism. For example, when we face criticism at work, we cannot control what other people think, but we can control how we respond to their words. As the philosopher Seneca states, "No one can make you unhappy without doing so." This statement reminds us that we are ultimately responsible for our own emotional state. It is also important to remember that during difficult times, it is especially important to maintain connections with others. Discussing our experiences with friends or loved ones, as well as seeking self-help and support from others, can greatly help us cope with life's challenges. The Stoics believed that accepting support and sharing our experiences is an essential part of the human experience. Thus, reflecting on life's challenges through a Stoic lens provides us with valuable insights that help us cope with difficulties, build resilience, and overcome obstacles. Instead of viewing difficulties as obstacles, we can see them as opportunities for growth and development, which makes us more resilient and prepared for future challenges. People who are able to adapt and learn from their mistakes tend to be more successful and satisfied with their lives. 2. Understanding your value. As Marcus Aurelius rightly noted in his Meditations, to find peace, you need to understand your role in the grand scheme of things. This statement carries a profound philosophical message that encompasses not only the personal but also the social aspects of our existence. For centuries, Stoic philosophy has recognized the importance of understanding one's value in the context of the common good, where each individual plays a unique role. Each of us, regardless of our profession, age, or social status, is a unique part of a larger society. Our value is not determined solely by material achievements or status, but stems from the ideas we bring to the world, our interactions with others, and the impact we have on those around us. We all have our own talents, abilities, and unique perspectives that, if properly recognized and applied, can greatly improve the quality of life for both ourselves and others. From a Stoic perspective, understanding one's value begins with self-awareness. Epictetus emphasized that it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our ideas about them. Learning to look at your life in a new way and understand the tensions that are building up is the first step to self-development. To see what role you play in society, you need to spend time in self-analysis, examining your feelings, thoughts, and actions. This process involves understanding your desires, goals, and what is truly important to your personal happiness and well-being. Stoics like Seneca also emphasized the importance of inner structure. It is designed to allow an understanding of your own worth to be based on an understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses. As Seneca said, it is wrong to consider what we do not have more important than what we have. This understanding allows us to build confidence and find meaning in the simple everyday life, rather than constantly seeking to compare ourselves with others. Once a person understands his own value, he begins to influence others. Imagine a teacher who believes in his students and shows them their potential. His confidence and understanding of his role in shaping future generations lifts the spirits and inspires young people to strive for new achievements. This effect, like a chain reaction, can involve not only the teacher's class, but also the senior class, the school, and even the community, inspiring it. Another manifestation of understanding your value is the ability to cope with difficulties. The Stoics believe that difficulties are an inevitable part of life and should be perceived as opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius taught that the soul of man, like a rightly directed hand, is able to find in every situation the way to good. When we understand our value, we are able to see difficulties not as obstacles, but as lessons that can strengthen us. It is important to note that knowing your value also includes recognizing your vulnerability. We are all vulnerable, and that is okay. A classic example is the story of Socrates, who, despite his achievements and wisdom, faced condemnation and death. He never doubted his own worth for a moment. He knew that his life had meaning, and that his ideas, his path, and his pursuit of truth remain relevant no matter what fate befell him. We too can take responsibility for our mistakes and pursue our goals, knowing that failure and criticism are part of the human experience. Understanding our worth not only gives us confidence, but also enriches our community. Each of us, by recognizing our uniqueness, has the ability to add something meaningful to the lives of others. Understanding our worth is the path to a more confident, compassionate state of mind, where we can lament not just trials, but also learn from them. 3. Practice gratitude. As the famous Roman philosopher Cicero stated, gratitude is not only the greatest virtue, but also the mother of all virtues. This statement emphasizes that gratitude is not just one of many positive traits, but the foundation for the formation of other virtues. In many ways, the philosophy of Stoicism, based on the teachings of thinkers such as Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, also recognizes the power of gratitude. The Stoics believed that the most important thing is to maintain inner peace and harmony, regardless of external circumstances. In this context, gratitude becomes a tool that helps us direct our thoughts to what we already have and for which we can be grateful. As Seneca wrote, "No one can be happy without gratitude, and for good reason." In this sense, gratitude is not only a positive feeling, but also an active practice that requires conscious effort. Regularly practicing gratitude helps us focus on the positive aspects of life. This can be done by keeping a gratitude journal, where we write down 3 or 4 things we are grateful for each day. This small but important ritual allows us to train our minds to notice the good moments and details in our lives that might otherwise go unnoticed. Research shows that such practices can improve mood, increase happiness, and even improve health. For example, in one study, people who regularly wrote down what they were grateful for reported greater happiness and fewer symptoms of depression. A wide range of real-life examples show how practicing gratitude can impact our perceptions and relationships with others. For example, the simple act of expressing gratitude to someone in your life can significantly change the dynamics of your relationships. You can express gratitude to a friend for supporting you during a difficult time or to a colleague for helping you with a project. Sharing positive emotions strengthens our connections with others and creates a healthier environment around us. This practice reflects the ideas of the great Stoic Marcus Aurelius, who in his meditations emphasized the importance of inner peace and focusing on what is truly important. He wrote, "When you are in turmoil, remember that you are part of a whole and that everything around you is temporary." This reminder of our belonging to a bigger picture of life can create a sense of gratitude for existence itself, enriching our perception and awareness. Gratitude practice can also be a powerful tool for achieving personal growth. Every time we consciously express gratitude for something, whether a small joy or a major achievement, we highlight our values and goals. We learn to focus on what really matters to us, and thus form a clearer picture of what we want to achieve in life. This can serve as a foundation for building positive self-esteem and self-confidence. On a psychological level, gratitude helps us reduce stress and anxiety. Studies such as those by David Graff show that regular gratitude practice promotes the production of serotonin and dopamine, neurotransmitters that play a key role in our mood and feelings of happiness. This biochemical process explains why people who practice gratitude often feel happier and more fulfilled in life. The philosophy of gratitude can also be integrated into social areas of life. For example, in work relationships, expressing appreciation for the work of employees can lead to increased motivation and performance. As a 2013 study by Kim and Nerod notes, developing a culture of gratitude in organizations can reduce employee turnover and increase overall job satisfaction. This is especially true in today's environment, where many people are looking for meaning and value in their professional lives. On a personal level, not only will this help us become happier, but it will also create a positive cycle. The more gratitude we feel, the more gratitude we engender in those around us. People who live with gratitude often share this state with others, which creates a positive space and promotes healthy, productive relationships. This supports the statement by Eckhart Tolle, who emphasizes that true gratitude turns off the thought process and leads to the fact that we simply feel life energy. Maintaining a gratitude practice can also open up new horizons for our personal and spiritual growth. Understanding that each day brings unique opportunities to acknowledge and express gratitude can inspire a deeper awareness of life and its abundance. The practice of gratitude becomes an integral part of our aspiration to a better life and inner peace. It not only helps us improve our mood, but also forms new habits and mindsets that allow us to create more meaningful relationships and deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. If you found this content useful, please feel free to share it with your friends and family. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting and educational videos in the future. 4. Focus on action. As Seneca points out in his writings, action is the basis of success. This idea, expressed in simple words, that, without practical action, our dreams and goals remain mere abstractions that have no real weight. However, in practice, everything turns out to be much more complicated than simply setting a goal and expecting it to materialize on its own. When faced with uncertainty and difficulties along the way, many people become confused and begin to doubt the correctness of the chosen path. Historical examples from the lives of many Stoics demonstrate how action leads to success and inner peace. For example, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasizes through his notes, "Alone with myself," that life consists of actions and decisions. His thoughts on how expectations or worries will not lead to success are relevant today. Aurelius urged to take decisive action despite external circumstances. Understanding that results depend on actions, not external conditions, really allows us to find inner peace. Setting clear and specific goals is the first step towards taking action, which allows us to overcome uncertainty and start moving forward. For example, if your goal is to start a physically active lifestyle, instead of an abstract intention to become more active, it is useful to set a specific goal, such as, go to the gym 3 times a week. This approach not only simplifies the task, but also allows you to track your progress. Similarly, many Stoics spoke about working on yourself, arguing that efforts aimed at self-development can significantly change a person. Seneca also emphasizes the importance of acting not only for success, but also for inner satisfaction. He encourages people to act without expecting immediate results, since the action itself can be a source of joy and the process itself. As one of his famous aphorisms says, failure is nothing more than an opportunity to begin again, more wisely. This thought is a reminder of the importance of persistence and the courage to keep moving forward, even when results are not immediate. The meaning of failure comes down to understanding that every mistake is an opportunity for long-awaited growth and learning. Similar ideas can be seen in the lives of great people. Thomas Edison famously tried thousands of options before creating a working light bulb. His famous quote, "I didn't lose. I just found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work," clearly demonstrates the fact that action is a process that requires patience and persistence. In fact, it is often the hard times that provide the greatest lessons. As Edison said, success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Edison was able to develop strength from his failures, which in turn changed the world. From a Stoic perspective, all areas of our lives, from professional growth to personal achievement, require the same mindful approach to action. If we want to change something in our lives, we must take action. Managing your thoughts and emotions from a Stoic perspective sets you up for a proactive approach to life, where every action matters and leads to progress. Perseverance in pursuing your plans, despite external circumstances, is what separates successful people from those who give up. As Stoic sayings and real-life examples show, action is more than just completing a task. It is a journey that shapes us as individuals and unlocks our potential. To achieve success, you need to do more than just wish or dream, but also take action, overcome fears, and find courage and perseverance. Every step, both small and large, is part of this journey. As Seneca said, it is not what you have, but what you do that makes you who you are. 5. Inquiry and self-awareness. Socrates' injunction to know thyself has become a foundational principle that has influenced many philosophical traditions, including Stoicism. The Stoics believed that to achieve true happiness and virtue, a person must understand who they really are. This includes not only recognizing their strengths and weaknesses, but also analyzing their emotions, desires, and goals. Epictetus, in his handbook, emphasizes the importance of self-awareness when he states, "A man is not subject to external circumstances, but only to his opinions about them." This statement reminds us that our perceptions do determine how we respond to them. In this way, self-analysis becomes a tool for overcoming inner fear and confusion. In addition, practicing self-awareness helps us determine which things are beyond our control and which are within our control. This concept is outlined in Epictetus' Enchiridion, where he argues that true freedom lies in the ability to distinguish between what we can control and what is beyond our influence. When a person understands and accepts their boundaries, they can free themselves from the insecurity and stress that comes with trying to control the unpredictable. In practice, self-awareness can take many forms, including journaling, meditation, and self-reflection. This approach can help us identify our goals, fears, and desires, as well as find satisfaction and joy in our daily lives. For example, people who practice meditation often report increased self-awareness and inner harmony, which in turn increases their confidence. True confidence, the Stoics argue, comes not from external achievements, but from within. It comes from understanding ourselves and our values, and from the ability to act in accordance with them. As Seneca said, a man's inner peace is his fortress. Each of us can build this fortress through self-awareness and mindfulness. Understanding your own values and meaning in life is another aspect of self-awareness. Living without clearly defined values can lead to a sense of loss and uncertainty. The Stoics advise asking yourself, what is important to me, and relying on these answers when making decisions. This allows us to make choices based on long-term goals and desires, rather than on short-term emotions or pressure from others. An example of this approach to life can be seen in famous people such as Viktor Frankl, who wrote about his experiences in a concentration camp in his book, Saying Yes to Life. He came to understand that meaning in life can be found even in the most difficult circumstances if a person is aware of his inner values. This process of self-awareness helped him not only survive, but also maintain his human dignity. Learning and self-awareness is an ongoing process that takes time and effort. However, it is through this process that we can achieve deep confidence, resilience, and inner harmony. In conclusion, Stoic philosophy offers us an amazing roadmap for understanding ourselves and achieving personal integrity. Each step towards self-awareness opens new horizons, allowing us to evolve and become the best version of ourselves. 6. Set boundaries. This statement may seem simple, but its importance cannot be overstated. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoics, said, "Freedom is the only thing that matters." This idea is key to understanding the concept of self-determination and personal responsibility. In many aspects of life, especially in the modern world, where social pressures and expectations can be quite high, the ability to set boundaries is not just a useful tool, but a necessary element in maintaining inner balance and peace of mind. Boundaries are not just physical restrictions, they are also emotional, mental, and social frameworks that we set to protect our inner world. It is important to understand that the right to say no is an expression of personal power and confidence. Expressing our needs and desires, as well as refusing to fulfill other people's demands and expectations, helps us allocate our energy and time as we see fit. This, in turn, increases our confidence that we are in control of our lives and make independent decisions. Famous Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius also emphasized the importance of self-control and managing your inner state. Seneca, for example, said, "Don't let circumstances prevent you from focusing on what's really important." This statement serves as a reminder that we are primarily responsible for our inner world and must be able to set boundaries to protect it. Let's look at a few real-life examples that illustrate the importance of boundaries. For example, many people face difficulties in the workplace when colleagues or superiors constantly ask them for help. Without the ability to say no, your work schedule may become filled with tasks that do not align with your professional goals or interests. Knowing how to set boundaries in this case can lead not only to higher quality work, but also to reduce stress and burnout. In your personal life, boundaries are also of great importance. For example, if a loved one constantly demands your attention and time, ignoring your own needs, this can lead to internal conflict. Learning to say no in these situations allows you to conserve your resources and thus improve the quality of your relationships. This is because when we set boundaries, we also communicate to others that our needs are important and that we are not willing to sacrifice ourselves to meet someone else's expectations. Sometimes it can be difficult to set boundaries, especially if we are experiencing fear of rejection or conflict. But it is important to remember that conflicts and resentment can arise when boundaries are not set. In some cases, ignoring your own inner voice can lead to serious consequences for mental health and overall well-being. Creating and maintaining boundaries also requires constant practice. It can be difficult, and it may take time to establish the habit of saying no. But each time you set boundaries, you become more confident in your decisions and that your needs matter. Gradually, you will notice that your stress level decreases and your inner resources are restored. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is the ability to choose. Setting boundaries allows you to choose who you interact with, what you do, and how you spend your time. This can be especially important in a world where technology and social media require us to be responsive and present at all times. The Stoics encourage us to seek stillness and centeredness, and learning to limit external cues and confidently say no to those who demand your time is a crucial step in creating space for reflection and contemplation. In this way, learning to say no and set boundaries reflects not only your strength of character, but also your ability to be the true author of your life. This is an important element of Stoic philosophy that shows how you can live a more conscious and productive life. Choosing how you want to use your resources can be the foundation of your freedom and the ability to enjoy life to the fullest. 7. Separating yourself from the opinions of others. Let's take a closer look at how this concept is implemented in life. Learning to separate yourself from the opinions of others means understanding that our own values and sense of self should not depend on how other people perceive us. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous representatives of Stoicism, emphasized that what people say about us should not affect what we think about ourselves. This idea has deep meaning, since it is our internal perception of ourselves that shapes our self-esteem and self-confidence in life. This is expressed in the ability to perceive criticism and praise with equal objectivity. For example, if someone says that you are not able to cope with a certain task, this should not determine your self-esteem. Instead, you should analyze the situation, understand what you really want and are able to do, and move forward based on your goals, and not on the opinions of others. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus also expanded on this idea, stating that it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. This means that our reactions to other people's opinions are often based on our own prejudices and expectations. If we learn to control our emotions and understand that the opinions of others are just opinions and not the absolute truth, we become more independent of external evaluation. An example of such separation can be found in the lives of modern fresh entrepreneurs and creative individuals. Many of them face criticism and misunderstanding from society, but true innovators go their own way, ignoring negative comments. For example, the famous inventor and entrepreneur Elon Musk, at different points in his career, faced many negative opinions about his projects and ideas. However, he continued to follow his beliefs and implement his own ideas, which ultimately led to the creation of successful companies such as Tesla and SpaceX. How to make this process a part of your life? Start with self-reflection. Write down your thoughts and feelings related to other people's opinions and analyze them. It is important to understand how much your sense of self depends on the opinions of others. You can conduct an experiment, turn off social media for a while or limit interactions with negative people in your circle. After a few weeks, you will notice changes in your perception of yourself. Communication also plays an important role. For example, the famous Stoic Seneca said, "People are terrified of what they fear, and afraid of what they do not know." If someone expresses criticism, try to find out the reasons. Perhaps it is just a misunderstanding or a projection of their own fears. Ultimately, understanding and communication can make your life much easier. Separating yourself from the opinions of others teaches us to distinguish important and constructive feedback from destructive criticism, allowing us to focus on what really matters, our own development and personal goals. By practicing these principles, we can free ourselves from the shackles of external opinion and become who we really are. 8. Regular self-development. As the ancient Greek philosopher Seneca says, intellect is our highest gift. These words emphasize the importance of the mind and knowledge as driving forces that can lead a person to success and inner well-being. Regular reading, learning new topics, participating in seminars and trainings, all this forms the basis for confidence and self-realization. The same Elon Musk admits that knowledge is a powerful tool in business. Musk is known for his passion for learning. He regularly reads various books and explores new technologies. This passion for knowledge not only allows him to develop innovative products, but also strengthens his confidence in his own strength and ability to change the world. Be thirsty for knowledge and love to learn, a statement by the ancient Roman philosopher Cicero, perfectly reflects the importance of continuous education. Learning new information and skills creates a snowball effect, the more you know, the more desire there is to delve deeper into something new. Along the way, it is helpful to follow the core principles of Stoicism, which emphasize rationality, emotional control, and dignity. Self-improvement is not just a hobby, it is a conscious investment in your own future. According to the philosopher Epictetus, it is not things that disturb us, but how we look at them. This teaches us that our perception of a situation and the level of knowledge we have about it directly affects our state of mind and confidence. When we understand that we are investing in our intelligence and skills, we become more resilient to the challenges of life. Psychology and education experts note that the learning process changes with age. Although youth is considered a time for learning, many successful people continue to learn throughout their lives. An example of this is Benjamin Franklin, who actively engaged in self-education throughout his life, reading, experimenting, and sharing his knowledge with others. This approach not only developed his intellect, but also created a platform for confidence, which allowed him to become one of the founding fathers of the United States. When we discover new concepts, ideas, and approaches, we become more knowledgeable and capable of making decisions. Each new knowledge can serve as a support in a difficult situation. For example, successful athletes regularly analyze their previous performances, learn new techniques, and turn to experienced coaches. This gives them the opportunity not only to develop their physical skills, but also to strengthen their belief in their abilities. The Stoic Marcus Aurelius can characterize this idea: you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This wisdom confirms that internal development and understanding of your capabilities are the most important features of confidence. It is never too late to learn, and each of us is capable of reaching new heights through active participation in the learning process. 9. Minimize the fear of failure. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoics, noted that fear is the most dangerous thing that can happen to a person. This statement emphasizes that the suffering caused by our own fear can be much more destructive than the actual failures we may experience along the way. When we face the fear of failure, we often realize that this fear does not come from outside, but is formed in our minds. This internal state can paralyze our motivation, deprive us of the desire to act, and make us deny ourselves the opportunity to achieve something greater. The Stoics urged us to realize that the ability to control our reactions to events is what makes us free. Mistakes and failures are an integral part of the learning process. The inability to overcome fear can prevent us from trying something new and from learning useful lessons from attempts that were not successful. Again, think of Thomas Edison, who, before creating a working version of the light bulb, conducted over 1,000 unsuccessful experiments, leaving us with his famous quote, "I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that will not work." This approach to failure allows us to view them as steps toward success, rather than as final defeats. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the difficulty lies not in the things we encounter, but in our attitude toward them. So, changing our perspective on failure can help us reduce our fear and accept the inevitable mistakes as part of our lives. Fear of failure can also be linked to social pressure. We live in a world where success and achievement are often put on display, giving us false standards of what is considered normal or successful. The Stoics encouraged us to strive for inner peace and self-improvement, rather than external evaluations or societal expectations. Epictetus taught, "Let no one control your thoughts," which is also relevant in the context of overcoming fears. It is necessary to develop an inner conviction that allows us to go towards our goals, despite the opinions of others. In addition, effective strategies for overcoming fear include reflective thinking and planning. Reflecting on the possible outcomes of our actions, we are able to apply the Stoic principle of distinguishing between the controllable and the uncontrollable. We may not control whether failure will occur, but we can control our actions, efforts, and intentions. The process of minimizing fear is not a one-time action, but an ongoing practice. The Stoics emphasize the importance of daily work on our character and state of mind. As Seneca said, "We do not live in the present, we are only preparing for it and are made up of our past." This cycle constantly requires us to rethink and adapt to new conditions, which in turn allows us to become more resilient in the face of failure. It is also worth noting that the fear of failure can be transformed into motivation. In bodybuilding, for example, many athletes believe that it is through pushing their physical and emotional boundaries that they become stronger and more resilient. This process involves constant temporary setbacks and physical pain, which ultimately lead to results, both in sports and in life. The phrase, "discomfort is the path to progress," perfectly illustrates this idea, which, of course, has its roots in the Stoic philosophy of courage and acceptance of difficulties. Taking all of the above into account, minimizing the fear of failure requires us to constantly work on ourselves, realizing that mistakes are not the end of the world, but a necessary part of the path to self-improvement and achievement. We must learn to see failures as an opportunity for growth and development, rather than a threat or a reason for stopping shame. And by following this principle, we can live a more fulfilling life, based on the wisdom of the Stoics, which encourages us to boldly move towards new goals. As Aristotle said, we become what we repeatedly do. This statement emphasizes the importance of regular practice and reflection to overcome fears and failures. In this way, we gradually restructure our lives to be less susceptible to fear. And ultimately, this is only possible through courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to accept the inevitable challenges. 10. Managing emotions. Marcus Aurelius's phrase, "It is not what happens, but how we react to it, that is the key to peace," perfectly illustrates the ancient Stoics' approach to the inner world of man. Stoicism emphasizes that the external world is full of uncertainty. One and the same event can cause different reactions depending on one's internal state. Stoicism argues that although we cannot control external events, we can control our thoughts and reactions. This concept is most clearly expressed in the works of philosophers such as Seneca and Epictetus. Seneca, for example, in his letters to Lucilius advises that, "Learn to tolerate what cannot be changed, and find joy in what is." This speaks to the importance of accepting reality as it is and finding inner peace even in difficult circumstances. An example of the application of these ideas in real life is the story of the famous American basketball player Colin Kaepernick. In 2016, he became the subject of public controversy after he began sitting on a bench during the national anthem to protest racial injustice. The action elicited a range of emotions, from support to condemnation. However, Kaepernick, a Stoic, chose to respond to the negative attacks directed at him not with anger or confusion, but with clarity. He said, "I can't just sit there and say nothing, because that would be wrong." Another example is Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist and neurologist who survived the Holocaust. In his book, Say Yes to Life, he writes about his experiences in concentration camps, where he realized that the only thing he had control over was his response to dire circumstances. Frankl argued that even in the most dire situations, when all seems lost, we have an internal choice we can make. This concept allows us to maintain inner freedom and independence even in the face of total control. Learning to manage emotions and reactions helps build resilience to life's challenges and failures. It is important to understand that stress and negative emotions do not exhaust us, do not define us, that we are only a manifestation of certain states of consciousness. In this perspective, it is worth recalling the statement of Epictetus, "A person does not suffer from the event itself, but from his opinion of it." This statement deepens the understanding of the role of perception in the formation of our state. If we allow negative emotions to control us, we lose the ability to rationally assess the situation and act in our own interests. In practice, managing emotions includes a variety of techniques, such as meditation, journaling, and mindfulness practices. For example, when a tense situation arises, such as a conflict at work, instead of immediately reacting, a Stoic might pause, take a deep breath, and consider his potential responses. This gives time to collect his thoughts and choose the most constructive response. A person can rethink his emotions by looking at the situation from a different point of view, applying logic and reasoning. Another powerful tool is self-reflection. Regular practice of being aware of one's emotions and reactions can help a person become aware of their patterns and find healthier ways to respond. When a Stoic notices that a certain situation makes them angry or anxious, they can analyze why they react that way and try to reframe their emotions. This is especially useful in interpersonal relationships, where managing emotions can greatly improve the quality of interactions with others. The ability to manage emotions and reactions is also important in crisis situations. For example, in times of economic instability or personal loss, it is important to remain calm and find a constructive approach to solving the problems that have arisen. Stress and anxiety can cloud rational thinking, and a conscious and balanced approach reduces anxiety, allowing one to find alternative solutions. In the context of Stoicism, managing emotions is not about suppressing feelings, but about correctly recognizing and integrating them into our consciousness. It is a practical approach to life that allows us not only to better perceive the world, but also to actively change it. Thus, managing emotions not only makes us internally free, but also gives us the opportunity to act in accordance with our values and goals. The wisdom offered by the Stoics is relevant today. The ability to manage your emotions and choose a reaction allows you to maintain inner peace even in the peaceful storm of the surrounding reality. This path to emotional maturity requires constant practice and self-analysis, but it brings undoubted fruits: confidence, stability, and inner peace. 11. Create a supportive environment. Seneca emphasized the importance of friendship and support from others in our lives, allowing us to achieve inner harmony in personal goals. In his correspondence, especially in the letters to Lucilius, he repeatedly testified to the need to surround ourselves with those who contribute to our spiritual and moral growth. One of his quotes is, "With friendship it is the same as with every other art, it is best when it leads to perfection." This emphasis on positive relationships can be seen as an important aspect of Stoic philosophy, creating a foundation for emotional and intellectual well-being. A supportive environment not only motivates, but also enriches our life experience. Being around inspiring people helps us develop critical thinking, teaches us new things, and provides an opportunity to exchange ideas. The Stoic model holds that our environment has a decisive influence on how we perceive challenges and difficulties. Being around pessimistic or negative people can have a much bigger impact on our worldview than we think. The Stoics understood that in difficult times, such as when we face setbacks, it is important to have support and understanding. Seneca wrote, "Problems are not so bad when we have those who can support us." This principle inspires us to consciously choose our surroundings. A good example of support can be seen in the life of the Roman legionaries. They were known for their cohesion and mutual support. Each soldier knew that in battle, his comrades in arms would help him overcome fear and difficulties. This partnership ensured not only physical but also emotional well-being, which is so important in difficult circumstances. This shows that a community where people share similar values and goals creates an atmosphere that promotes resilience and overcoming life's adversity. By creating a supportive environment, we not only choose friends, but also become more actively involved in communities and groups that inspire us and make us want to grow. This could be a club, an idea-sharing group, or even an online community. It is important that these groups encourage positive change and support honest exchange. When we have access to a variety of perspectives, it helps us understand the world and ourselves better. Seneca also emphasized that we should surround ourselves not only with people who can support us, but also with people who are not afraid to ask us difficult questions. Such interactions awaken in us critical thinking and self-reflection. "Friends should be honest with each other," he wrote. This question about honest communication emphasizes that true friendship includes not only support, but also the opportunity to receive constructive criticism. Equally important is the desire to develop one's own qualities. As Epictetus noted, no one can be more powerfully influenced than he himself. This emphasizes the idea that we ourselves must also work on ourselves, striving to be those who can inspire and support others. A supportive environment is a reciprocal one. When we are a source of support for others, we create stronger and more rewarding relationships. In addition, the style of such communication should be based on trust and respect, which makes the connection strong and long-lasting. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius taught, what we do is what we are. This idea emphasizes that our society, including our friends and acquaintances, shapes our I. Thus, creating a supportive environment not only affects us, but also our loved ones and the group. Each of us, in turn, must think about the impact we have on those around us. In practice, creating a supportive environment requires conscious effort. This can include choosing people who are committed to personal growth, avoiding toxic relationships, and actively engaging in constructive discussions. We can also expand our understanding by interacting with people who have different life views and experiences. This creates a rich palette of ideas and approaches, which ultimately makes us more adaptable and open to new possibilities. Creating a supportive environment is a fundamental principle of Stoic philosophy, calling for mutual support, honesty, and the development of personal qualities. Not only does it help eliminate negative influences, but it also contributes to our spiritual and intellectual development. On the path we choose, it is important to choose people around us who share our values and support us in our quest for self-improvement. 12. Regular meditation and reflection practices. Epictetus emphasized the importance of internal reflection to develop awareness and understanding of our emotions and reactions to the external world. In his works, such as the Visual Discourses, he talks about how our state of mind is something we can control, despite external circumstances. This statement reminds us that we have the power to manage our thoughts and emotions, which is very important in our fast-paced and sometimes chaotic world. Meditation practice, in turn, helps us achieve this level of self-awareness in our daily lives. Meditation can take many forms, from simply focusing on our breathing to more complex practices such as journaling or mental excursions. This internal work helps us become aware of which thoughts and emotions dominate our consciousness, which in turn allows us to deal with them more effectively. For example, when we are faced with a stressful situation, this inner work can help us imagine different ways of responding and choose the wisest and most constructive one. Marcus Aurelius, in his book Meditations, shares his thoughts on the importance of taking time for reflection and meditation. He believed that time spent alone in silence helps us focus on our inner life, as well as what is truly important in life: virtue, compassion, and service to others. For example, he suggests asking yourself questions about why you react the way you do to certain events or people, and what could be improved. This helps develop not only a personal philosophy, but also a practice that affects our relationships and the community as a whole. There are many modern examples of how meditation and inner reflection have a positive impact on people's lives. One such example is the story of Steve Jobs, who used meditation to find balance in his life and business. He is known for practicing Zen meditation, which helped him focus and get the most out of his ideas. Jobs noted that meditation helped him make clearer decisions and maintain creativity. In addition, many psychologists and mental health experts today emphasize the importance of mindfulness, a technique that comes from the East and is similar to meditation practices. Scientific research shows that regular meditation can reduce stress, increase happiness, and improve overall mental well-being. This highlights the importance of taking time to quiet the mind and find inner peace. Ultimately, regular meditation and reflection practices not only help us deepen our knowledge of ourselves, but also allow us to develop self-confidence. These practices teach us how to be more resilient to change, how to manage our emotions, and how to stay true to our values despite external noise and chaos. By engaging in inner reflection, we can focus on what is truly important and filter out the negativity and worries that do not matter so much. Integrating meditation and reflection practices into our daily lives is a great way to not only enhance our personal well-being, but also improve the quality of our relationships with others, create harmony within ourselves, and develop inner strength. Self-confidence is more than just a sign of success. It is an internal state that allows us to fully embrace our lives, pursue our goals, and feel complete. It forms the foundation on which we build our personalities, dreams, and ambitions. People with high self-confidence are able to overcome challenges, are not afraid to openly express their thoughts and ideas, are willing to take risks, and do not perceive failures as final defeats, but rather as lessons for growth. Self-confidence is a multi-layered and multifaceted state that we can develop and strengthen in many ways. Creating effective habits and applying Stoic principles allow us to not only pave the way to a more confident life, but also to enjoy every step of the way. Each small victory serves as a stepping stone to greater achievements, opening up new horizons and opportunities for self-realization. And finally, as in any important endeavor, patience and persistence are key. Confidence does not come instantly, but each step towards it can significantly change our lives for the better. Friends, if such content brings you benefit and joy, do not forget to share it with your friends. Like, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments and requests for new topics of interest to you, illuminated by the light of Stoic wisdom. Thank you for watching, and we are waiting for you again.